Hello traders, this is Day Trader Matt with businesswithtrading.com doing an E-mini trading room recap for the 20th of December, Friday, and today was another fun day in the markets. Basically gapped up a little bit, took off, and just kept grinding higher the entire morning session. Today we had one trade and took 6 points out of the market, which is I think is pretty good for a Friday before Christmas holiday. Uh, but we got long down here. We were able to ride it up quite a bit, taking profit up here, and then kind of watching things, watch price come back down, move sideways for a little bit. Thought it was going to come down a little bit more than it did, so we were not able to get into that one, and then it started moving higher. So sometimes price is going to do that, and I didn't want to you know you always want to manage your risk as a trader. You always want to watch your downside, what can happen. And I was wanting to enter a little bit lower than this. It didn't happen. We were not in the trade, and it continued on, and basically it is what it is. Sometimes that's going to happen in the markets. You're not going to be in every single trade, and it's something that you're going to have to be comfortable with as a trader. For me, if I miss a trade, I miss a trade. Whether I'm in a trade or I'm not in a trade, I'm still going to watch the markets. The markets are, for me, I think it's fun to watch. When I'm not in a trade, it's kind of like a movie playing out where you want to figure out what's going to happen, and then you can bet on it, basically, um, in basic terms. But that's the way I kind of view the market, and that's what I want to wait till I get something that looks really good and I can jump onto. And, not being in a trade, it happens, and, it sucks to not be in a trade, but it's part of the business of trading. And we got this nice trade right off the open. Worked out very well. We missed this one, and the market just kept going over. And then we ended up just closing the room in this area here. Just because I didn't really, see a good entry that I actually liked. And, it is what it is. The market can go up without me. I'm fine. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. And really the concept is, try to get profits every day and be consistent about it, and over time it will work out in your favor, theoretically. And, if the results of the room mean anything at all, it shows that they do. I do have some losing days, and, some days are really not very good at all. But in the grand scheme of things, through consistency, you want to be able to make that money, and so far that's what we have done with the room. So, yeah, it's impressive that every single month we're up, but in the same hand, every single week we are not up. And that's the interesting part. If you look at yourself every day, like some new traders, they look at their stats daily. And I think that's the wrong way to go about it, and that's really the main reason why I show my stats monthly, because I think gauging it that way, you have enough data so you can actually look at it properly, rather than looking at it daily where you're going to have fluctuations. Getting exactly 3 points every day is very, very hard, if not impossible. I would say impossible. But having consistent profits month in, month out is definitely achievable, and that's really what I try to talk about with the room. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense a little bit. You have to have the right trading mindset to be able to, enter the world of trading and not go crazy, because trading is definitely not for everyone. It's, something, some people tell me, you have to be a little bit crazy to become a trader. I don't necessarily think that way, but you do have to have a different mentality to become a trader, if that makes sense. So anyway, hopefully you got something out of what I was talking about. You can always leave comments below the video. I encourage that. No such thing as a dumb question if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Have a great weekend. If you're finished with trading, have an awesome Christmas holiday. And I'll see you back here in the markets. Thank you.